Oh, yours is...
It won't. It didn't pop very good.
In my throat that I can't swallow. I'm having a little gag reflex.
A gag reflex is not good.
We're knocking the pants off of each other.
Well, I do.
You do?
Wow. Yeah.
That's some bad bitches right there. I love the shit out of banana bread.
And it really lingers a long time.
It's throwing me for a loop. My caution flag is up.
You know how much I love fruit and beer?
Which gags me on all levels.
Hi everyone.
I'm Janet.
I'm Jason.
We're
Gumbo Mud. We're here
for dark beer.
And today, what do we got? What we got today?
We have Jackie O's Hell Bettie. This is a Raspberry Imperial Porter with an 8.5% ABV.
Why'd you pick a Raspberry Porter? You know how much I love fruit and beer?
I know, we've not had one, and raspberry is something that I could see being complementary with chocolate and vanilla,
I think so.
Coffee, but I do have the concern that it's going to taste artificial, just like when you try to do banana in a beer or other fruits. It's like an artificial flavor. So anxious to try it. So
yeah, interesting can too.
Yes, I love the can.
Out of Ohio, right?
Athens.
Yeah, Athens, Ohio.
Athens, Ohio.
I love when we get beers from places we usually don't. So
So Imperial Porter, fermented with all natural raspberry puree, conditioned on cacao nibs and vanilla beans.
So you think since it's a natural puree that it's going to have an artificial taste or not?
Well,
if
hopefully
that's what they
not.
Used, yeah.
I mean, I would assume if that's what they're saying they used, that's truly what they used. But in my experience, any beer, like I tried a banana bread beer. Like I love the shit out of banana bread. I bake it, I make it healthy. But most banana flavored things, not just beer, just anything that's touted as being banana flavored or fruit flavored often comes across as artificial. And that's been my experience with beers that contain fruit flavors. So I'm just, my caution flag is up a little bit.
Yeah. So the description of this beer is the roasty malt backbone with notes of toffee, caramel, and coffee. Create a backdrop that highlights this porter's balance between the rich chocolate and vanilla and the bright acidic sweetness of the raspberry puree. And Athens, Ohio is home of the Appalachian Hills Betties. You know what those are, I think those are the airplanes.
I don't
Betties,
know.
And the Black Diamond Betties Roller Derby Team, a nonprofit volunteer.
That's some bad bitches right there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Now maybe the Appalachian Hills Betties is not. The picture looks like it's what they usually have on a World War II airplane.
Oh, I was thinking that these are what the chicks wear when they're roller derbying.
Could be that too.
They have the little helmet on because they're knocking the pants off of each other.
Yeah, they're probably both derby teams, roller derby teams. So.
All right, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so about the owner, it's Andrew Arthur. I'm going to go with Oestrike. In 2005, he purchased an old 90s pub called O'Hooley's, and shortly before he purchased that pub, his mother was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. She did pass in June of 2006. Prior to her passing, he let her know that he was going to change the name from O'Hooley's to Jackie O's, which I love.
Yeah.
Like that's an amazing honor and such a cool thing to do. So I love it.
Yeah. That's great that he would honor her like that.
Yeah, totally.
Good job, Andrew.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, and that's about it for this beer. You can Google Jackie O's Brewery there in Athens, Ohio, and get some more information on it. And check them out and visit them, and definitely get their beers. So
they have actually a very long timeline of their history. We just kind of gave you the truncated version, but a really in-depth history of how they got started and and just a lot of nice information on their website that you'll find helpful. So do check that out.
Yeah, let's do it. An 8.5 porter.
Yes.
Love it.
There we go.
We got small little cans, so
I know.
we each get one of these, which is sometimes good, right?
I know. I just hope this raspberry is authentic and not artificial.
Yeah. Whoops. Let's shake it up.
It's not a nitro.
Yeah. See what the puree is. Huh?
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I love the artwork.
Ooh, ready?
Yep,
let's do it.
I expected to see a red tint, which I don't. It's very light, almost scenty-ish.
Very light.
Oh, yours is.
It didn't pop very good.
Oh, you broke yours.
Oh, I broke mine. Let's see if I can pop it. There we go.
I wondered what was going on.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's happening with yours?
Yeah, I think I had dropped it when we first bought it.
All right, I'm getting some nice aromas.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Very light, though, for an 8.5.
That's a hell of a pour, considering your can was jacked.
I know, yeah.
Nicely done.
I know. So, for appearance, what do you think? Man, it was light.
It was, but as usual, when it's all in, I can't see through it at all. I'm holding it up to the light, and I don't see anything through it.
Super light, though.
I have a one-finger beige head because I poured reasonably. Lots of carbonation. It looks really, really good to me.
Yeah.
The pour was light, though. So I'm going to go down to 4.5. Otherwise, I'd give it a 5.
Wow.
Now that it's all in, I think it looks spot on.
Yeah. I give it a 2.5.
What?
It's an 8.5.
Don't give it a...
It's an 8.5.
Don't give it 2.5 because your can's jacked.
I'm not. It looked like a 5% beer.
On the pour, but now it's all in.
Yeah, well, the pour. I go by the pour. That's how it looked.
You stink.
Look, yeah, it looked... Well, it's an 8.5. It maybe if it was a 6 or something, but it's an 8.5. It looked like a 5. So I have to. That's below average for me. That's if I'm buying an 8.5 beer, I want an 8.5 beer, which it could be, but it looks super light. So I can't give it average. I had to give it right below average. That's why I give it a 2.5. So all right, aroma.
Okay.
I was getting something too
Good.
when we cracked the cans.
Definitely a lot of sweetness. I get some chocolatiness, some vanilla. I don't get any raspberry, which I'm completely shocked.
Really? Well, I do.
You do?
Wow. Yeah.
Boy, we're so different sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, I get raspberry. Oh, yeah. Big time.
That's so crazy.
Is it the way mine poured?
No, yours smells like mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's raspberry.
Oh, I don't get that at all. But I really, really like what I get, which is just a nice chocolate, vanilla, almost a little bit of marshmallowy-ness.
Okay.
Very sweet smelling. So I like that. I'm going to go with a 4.5.
Wow. I gave it a 4 because it is a raspberry beer and I'm getting raspberry. So I'm not getting all the flavors you are, but I get raspberry big time.
Uh-oh.
And that's pretty much all I get.
Okay.
I'm not getting chocolate or anything. I'm getting raspberry. But it's a nice raspberry. I actually like raspberry, but most of the fruits, I like blueberries. I like raspberries. So for fruit and beer, that's one reason why I think I won't mind this at all.
Yeah.
It's not a dark fruit, and I like raspberries. So, yeah, I give it a 4 because it smells good. It smells like raspberry, and that's a raspberry beer. So, all right.
I
Taste.
think because the can is partially red, I was expecting just like overabundance of raspberry. So
I get a lot.
We'll see on the taste. Here we go.
All right, taste. Yeah, I get a lot of raspberry in mine for some reason. So, yeah. It's interesting though. I'm not getting anything else.
It's really good.
What do you get?
Still chocolate vanilla, very creamy, and just the slightest, most complimentary bit of raspberry.
You just get a little bit?
It's not overwhelming. It's super faint. I really like it. I'm impressed.
Wow. Our taste buds are off today. I get a lot of raspberry.
Really? Yeah, we
a lot.
are off.
It's almost like a raspberry shake to me.
Or like a smoothie?
Yes.
What do you mean a shake?
Yeah, like a chocolate malt shake or a raspberry shake, with milk and like a raspberry shake.
Wow.
That's what I'm getting. Like ice cream. Like a raspberry ice cream, where it's not really strong, but you get all raspberry.
Yeah.
It's just it's not strong, but you get all raspberry. Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Interesting. I'm getting it more now.
I'm getting a lot of raspberry. That's about all I'm getting. I'm not even getting chocolate. It'd be nice to get a little chocolate with it.
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
Yeah, I'm getting all that. I'm going to give it a 4 on taste.
Yeah?
I do like it. The raspberry's not as bumping as I thought it would be, which I'm okay with. I think it's very, like I said, very complimentary. It's good. It's a solid beer. Very drinkable, very sippable.
Yeah. I gave it a 3.5.
Okay. I smell raspberry in your breath.
Oh yeah, it's so raspberry. So I don't know why you're not getting it. Mine is like all raspberry. It's crazy how much raspberry is coming out, and that's all I'm getting is raspberry. Now it almost tastes a little artificial.
It does.
There's so much. So that's why I gave it a 3.5. I wish there was some chocolate or the toffee notes that it says it had. I'd love to get some of that vanilla. I'm not getting any coffee either, which it said it had a little bit of coffee. I get all raspberry. Like, it's crazy. It's like raspberry, almost like ice cream. If the vanilla was bumped, I would say that would be a raspberry vanilla ice cream. That's how much I'm getting. So, yeah, so I give it a 3.5. So, what about texture? An 8.5.
The texture is, it's a little
It's light.
light and a little syrupy to me, which I would...
Light and syrupy, so it's like a, a light syrup, huh?
Yeah, like maple syrup, you can do full-on genuine maple syrup, or you can do like a light version, which is texture-wise much lighter.
Yeah.
This is kind of similar to that. Yeah, it tastes to me like not a vanilla, a raspberry syrup rather than a puree.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, the texture's a little off for me. So, I'm going to go with 3.5.
Okay. 3.5. Yeah, I had to give it below average. So, I don't think it's average for an 8.5. It tastes pretty light to me, so I just went right below average. I gave it a 2.5 because for an 8.5, it should be creamier and thicker than that. It looks creamy. The lacing and everything looks amazing on it.
It's great lacing.
I think the carbonation's spot on too. It's lightly carbonated. It tastes really good. It's light. I don't taste like an 8.5, so I couldn't give it average. So I gave it a 2.5.
Okay.
So. What about the finish?
The finish is kind of throwing me for a loop. I get, I do not love cherry anything, and I know that it's raspberry, but it's bordering on being cherry, and I almost taste like I believe it's called Luden's cough drop, which gags me on all levels. There's something that's like in my throat that I can't swallow, and it tastes like a cherry or a raspberry cough drop or throat lozenge, and I don't love the finish. Like everything else was pretty good for me. The finish is, I'm having a little gag reflex. So
that's not good.
I'm going to give it a 2 on the finish.
Wow, is that bad for you, huh?
Yeah.
A gag reflex is not good.
I just have, I have a ball of, cough drop in my throat.
Yeah.
That I can't swallow down.
Gotcha.
It's strange, I know.
So you give it a 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. I gave it a 3.5. I gave it a little above average because that's kind of where I think it kind of almost tastes a little artificial to me. I've never had raspberry puree, so I don't know, the taste, but I have to give it to them. This beer, mine, is all raspberry. It's just all raspberry. So the finish kind of lingers too with that kind of artificial kind of flavor, and it really lingers a long time. So that's why I gave it a 3.5. almost a little above average because it is raspberry. It says it's raspberry. Everything I've gotten is raspberry. The finish is raspberry, but it lingers a lot. It tastes just a little bit artificial, so that's why I gave it 3.5.
Interesting you say lingers a long time, because that's exactly what a cough drop does. You have to suck on a cough drop till it dissolves, and that's exactly what I feel like is going on in my mouth and my throat. Like,
it lingers.
You can't get past it, and it's just like it's.
Yeah, it's not dry and finished and quick. It's still there. Like it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like I smell it on your breath, like I said. Yeah. So it's like it is that prominent, right? The raspberry.
Yeah.
Aspect. So.
Yeah.
But good for them for not, saying you're making a raspberry beer and it tastes nothing like raspberry. So
right, and for a dark, for porters, we don't see very many raspberry beers ever, and this is a raspberry beer. So I love that they have a direction and they went that way.
Definitely.
So for a total, Janet, what do you give Jackie O's Hell Betty? Raspberry Imperial Porter. Raspberry. You know what's funny about raspberry is like you really don't say the P. Because that'd be rasp.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
Yep.
You say raspberry.
That is
raspberry.
True.
Anyway, what's your total?
My total was 3.6 out of 5.0. Started off strong for me.
Yeah.
We were very far apart on the appearance.
Yeah.
I could smell something as soon as we cracked the can, which I love. Good, bad, or otherwise, I like to get something.
Some aroma,
which I did. 4.5 on appearance and aroma were my highest categories. And then kind of dwindled down from there. A 4, a 3, and a 2 on taste, texture, and finish. The finish, they really lost me. It was just a lingering cough drop raspberry flavor that I just could not get rid of. I still can't get rid of. Really love the can and the artwork, and I especially love the story of how they arrived at the name for the brewery. So I think it's a well brewed beer, and I also appreciate, like you, that it's a raspberry porter, and you definitely get the raspberry-ness of it, because that does not always happen. So kudos for that. Just not really the beer for me.
Right. My total was a 3.2, so above average beer. It even says on the can, conditioned with vanilla beans and cocoa nibs. I don't get that. I would really like this beer if I did get more vanilla, especially a little sweet vanilla, and the cocoa nibs, the sweet cocoa too. I would think I would like this beer, but it is all raspberry, so I give them that. Like, it's a raspberry beer. Imperial Porter, I wouldn't consider this an Imperial Porter. 8.5, I wouldn't consider that either. Like, it's a lighter porter to me, like raspberry porter. But if they do variation of this, it'd be cool to add more chocolate, or even, like I said, like vanilla, and get that vanilla raspberry ice cream.
Yes.
Kind of flavors would be good, especially if you could get some sweetness. So, so I gave it a 3.2, you gave it 3.6. So Gumbo Mud Review is a 3.4. So above average beer. Obviously, we were kind of both a little all over the place on it, which is kind of fun sometimes.
Right, it is.
Different taste buds and this and that. But it's so raspberry to me, it's crazy. Like, every part of it was raspberry. Like, we both agreed. The finish just lingers. It's still lingering. And the puree, I don't know, maybe you don't get as much sweetness out of the raspberry from the puree, and maybe that's, like you said, it's the artificial kind of flavoring in it, where you don't get sweetness out of it, because obviously raspberries are sweet. But
puree is usually very I think it's like the most concentrated form of the fruit, besides the fruit itself. Like, it's pureed and mashed up so that the flavors release. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's raspberry, boy. You can just smell.
We are close to 100 reviews in, if not more. I don't know exactly where we're at, and this is our first raspberry beer. So
we look for everything.
Yeah, and it's a porter. So, we're not accustomed to this raspberry taste either. So.
No, I think it's actually a good beer. I think it's more like a 6% porter. to me, a raspberry porter, and that'd be spot on for me. I don't feel like it's an imperial porter, or I really wish the cocoa nibs and everything came out, but the beer is actually good. It's
good.
different. I actually like it. I would have it.
I still think it's good.
Yeah.
And as it's warmed and aerated, I do. The raspberry is much more pronounced. Like, I initially didn't get much on the smell, if any.
Yeah.
And now every time I bring it up, I can smell the raspberry.
Yeah.
So
it's ventilating.
Yeah.
Our snifters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these dark beers, they have a life of their own, and they do change, which if you drink dark beer regularly, you know this.
Yeah. So Andrew, do some variations of this. Add some more chocolate, or man, I think you could do a lot of different things with this beer and still keep the raspberry, which would be unique, to keep that raspberry flavor. Because if you watch our channel, I don't like fruit in dark beer, and the raspberry, like you said, you think it would go well. And this is kind of my first one.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think it does complement dark beers. And if you could add some chocolate, if you did actually add the toffee or caramel or vanilla, I think it could be really good. I think you do a barrel-aged version of this would be cool too. A lot of different things. So Gumbo Mud Review is a 3.4 for Jackie O's Hell Bettie, which I love that name.
I love
it too. Raspberry Imperial Coffee. No, it's not even coffee. Imperial Porter. Yeah, I wish it was coffee.
There's an old song, I don't know who sings it, but there's a old song called Black Betty.
Yes.
Which I love.
Oh, I forget who does that. I like that song too.
When my kid was little, we used to put him on our knee and bump him to the... Yeah, I forget who
Love
that song.
So thank you guys so much for watching this review. Click the like and share button and share it with everyone, and click the subscribe button for more dark beer reviews.
And we are on the gram. It's Gumbo Mud, MUDD. We always put out several releases throughout the week, and we do some giveaways and other fun stuff. So find us there. Send us a comment to let us know that you're following us. And thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll see you on the next review.
Bye.
Bye.